We have been taught to think differently. We have been trained to embrace a mindset of efficiency, critical thinking, and intellectual prowess. We have inherited a passion for helping patients and finding solutions where there is ongoing unmet need. We are Reponex Pharmaceuticals. Every year, millions of people worldwide suffer from inflammatory conditions such as bacterial peritonitis and inflammatory bowel disease. Other chronic inflammatory conditions, such as non-healing skin ulcers in patients with diabetes or venous insufficiency, also greatly impact patient quality of life. Despite advances in medical care, the number of patients suffering with these chronic inflammatory conditions has increased over the last decade. This means there is a continuing unmet medical need to improve the treatment of these difficult and sometimes life-threatening conditions. This is what Reponex Pharmaceuticals strives to solve. Reponex Pharmaceuticals is a Danish clinical-stage biopharmaceutical company listed on Copenhagen Nasdaq. At Reponex, we are dedicated to repurposing existing drugs as effective treatments in inflammatory diseases that have significant patient and social impact, and for which current therapy is lacking or in need of improvement. The ability to create a revolutionary and effective medical approach indisputably presupposes a substantial understanding of the patient challenges and requires dedication, knowledge, and experience. Professor Heslett embodied these attributes. At a very young age, and upon the loss of his father to lung cancer, Professor Lars Heslett made his first acquaintance with the world of medicine. During his many years as a leading researcher and senior physician, he witnessed how many patients' needs were not being met as effective treatments did not exist. By taking a holistic view, Professor Heslett began his research into how currently available medicines could be used to treat medical conditions other than those for which they had originally been developed. This repositioning approach is the DNA of Reponex Pharmaceuticals today. As both an engineer and doctor, Professor Heslett dared to break conventional thinking. His early experimental research was the start of repositioning here at Reponex. By taking an already approved, regulatory approved drug and applying it for a whole new clinical indication. One of the major advantages to this approach is that the drug's toxicity and safety profile is already well known and considered acceptable. Together with leading investors, Professor Heslett built a portfolio of 6 drug candidates with an anti-inflammatory treatment profile, all of which are presently being evaluated in clinical studies at leading hospitals, and the regulatory path for future market approval is being prepared at the headquarters in Hørsholm, Denmark.
When Lars Heslett passed away in 2016, he had designed a handful of promising and much needed drug candidates under the auspices of Reponex. After that, it was up to Reponex to complete the mission. Today, Reponex has 6 drug candidates in clinical phase 2, and each individual candidate represents a solution to a disease area where there is a large lack of effective and patient-friendly treatment. We currently have 6 prioritized drug candidates, which we have taken all relevant and sufficient steps to secure patent-wise in the US, in Europe and in Japan. In these territories, there is a total of 35 million patients waiting to receive effective treatment every year for our 6 drug candidates.
A solid foundation has been built. With great determination and curiosity, we will continue to help patients worldwide by systematically evaluating existing drug candidates as well as identifying and exploring new indications where there currently are no approved treatments. Reponex Pharmaceuticals, the future of repositioning.